All right. Well, I'm so delighted and excited to share this grand space with you that I've created tonight for our gift wrapping extravaganza. I'm very excited to be here. Gift wrapping is something that is probably not a real resume builder, but it is something that I, for no good reason, really like doing. So I'm always up for mail and gift wrapping are two things. So I'm going to get us started and we'll hop right into it. We have an aggressive agenda tonight. So we'll make sure that we get through that in the time that we have allotted. I did first want to thank Gary very much for being the entree of tonight. I'm just the dessert, but Gary, you had a great presentation. And I really, in particular, liked what you had to say about being practical and creative during these times, which are two things I think are applicable to gift wrapping. And certainly the practical part that I'd like to share a few things with you guys tonight. And then also, I really like the be positive and have fun. Those are two things that definitely you want to do when you're having gift wrapping, because part of the fun of giving gifts is just being positive and sharing the love. So with that said, I first want to draw your attention down here to the table and just let you know that I am here on behalf of HFA. I know that I show up at almost every NEHA event, but I do have a real job instead of just being a fangirl for NEHA and Rich, and I work for HFA. So great place, great stuff that we're doing. And if you have any questions about HFA, hemophiliafed.org, and you can enter into the portal of all sorts of resources. So with that said, let's get down to business. As they say, I watched Mulan earlier, so we won't defeat the Huns, but we will wrap some gifts. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And so a quick introduction, again, a little bit more about me and wrapping. Like I said, I love to gift wrap. A lot of the techniques and stuff I'm going to share with you actually come from the fact that when I was a kid, and my siblings can certainly attest to having watched me do this, I would sneak downstairs early in the morning and I would very carefully, as in like CSI, FBI stuff, unwrap my gifts so I could see what they were, and then I would rewrap them and then put them back together and reassemble the entire thing. By the way, no cameras at the time, so I had to do this from memory. So a couple of the tricks and tips I have in here are directly related to that. And that's how I got to really know how wrapping goes. And I also wanted to just say, I know that there are a lot of ways to gift wrap. These are just a few. These are my style. Lots of styles out there, but hopefully at the end of this, you'll get a few ideas that might get you going yourself. Lastly, I wanted to give you an outline of what we're going to go through tonight. We're going to start with some basics of wrapping. Then we're going to get into some helpful tips. We're going to talk a little bit about different types of wrapping paper. We're going to talk ribbon 101. And then at the end, I'm going to conclude with a few extra ideas that you might enjoy for your family and friends who will be the beneficiaries of your great creativity. Last thing, well, I guess that's it. That's the intro. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to get right down to business here, and hopefully you can see in my second angle down here on the table. I've got this beautiful wrapping paper. This roll, by the way, has lasted me for like 3 years. So I'm very excited about that. I always get my wrapping paper at deep discount right after Christmas, or what I like to do, and we'll get into this with the ribbon, but love to hit up a dollar store or Target after the holidays, or even before, because don't forget, wrapping paper, while it is beautiful, at the end of the day, like a trash bag, it's going in the trash. I love a high quality toilet paper too, but let's face it, at the end of the day, it goes down the tube, literally. So, but I love this wrapping paper. The other thing I really like about this, and I don't know if you can see this luxury down here on the table, but what I wanted to point out is that this has the gift wrapping lines. And I don't know who came up with that, but boy, am I going to be friends with them. So we're going to get started here. I've got this Paw Patrol, which I think I somehow obtained from the Miazga house, and it has one of the children gave his autograph on the back. So we couldn't give it away, but it's a great gift for me to wrap with here. One of the things I wanted to share about wrapping kids' gifts in particular. This isn't the best example, but in a house that doesn't have kids, it's the best I could do for now. Oftentimes when you're wrapping a gift, you'll notice they have these little window panes here, and those can be really tough because sometimes they collapse in or they're a little bit flimsy. So if you have one of those, my quick tip is, and this is not the right size, but it'll give you the idea, is to cover it with a piece of paper. I know it's this is regular, a little bit thicker than copy paper, but this is regular paper, and a little something that you could place in there, which just helps to reinforce the area. The other thing that I would, I'm not going to wrap the Paw Patrol actually. The other thing is, when you're doing this, you can also double up on the paper. So we're going to get ready to make some cuts here. This is very official. One of the things before we start cutting, I want to point out to you here on the side is you want to measure the paper. You can see that right along there. When I do this quickly, I'm just lining it up close to the edge. And if I put it up like this, I can see by the grid that I'm pretty straight up on the edge, but I'm also looking and seeing that I'm almost to the top here. So you want to get lined up like that. And then the other side, you're gonna roughly cut a line all the way down on the same line. If you're really good, you can slide the scissors like a professional. I don't know how that rip noise. Oh, look at that. That was poetry, baby. All right, so you can cut it right along there. So like I said, you can actually fold one of my techniques. If you don't have paper like this, which is looks a little strange, and normally I'd use one big piece, but what you can do is you can double up the paper this way, right? And then just fold it in half right there. I'm actually gonna make that a nice perfect. And then don't forget that when you're wrapping, I usually like to put the front of the gift, so in this case, the Hot Wheels, named after our former car, the 99 Jetta, rest in peace. So I'm gonna put this right here, face down, so that then when the gift is actually being presented, like, like this one right here, the face of the gift is actually on the outside. It's kind of something silly, but it's something that I always do when I'm putting a gift together. It's kind of like putting a letter in an envelope. You want to make sure that when the person opens it, the front, when they pull it out of the card, the back of the envelope, it's the design on the front of the card is facing them. A little something I got taught in school. So we'll let that one go. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is, and this is the part that I learned from opening gifts when I was a young child, is you want to put a piece of tape right here, because otherwise what I used to do is once this is all packaged up, I would actually undo one side and you could pull the gift straight out. And that's great, and that works. And kudos to my parents who got the job done and got a nice tight wrap without taping it. But I like to tape it. I like to keep it secure, and I don't want anyone messing with my gifts and pulling it out. So I'm going to tape that once because it's really just to hold the paper in place. And then what I do is I'll hold the top, pull this, like kind of push back on the gift just to make sure that it's nice and firmly in there on the edges. And then this piece of paper, I actually folded over already because I fold the paper. But usually what I'll do is to make sure there's a nice edge is I'll just fold this once. Depending on how much extra paper you have, you can fold as much as you want. This is also, if your paper goes way over the side, this is a great way to just like knock that out of it and be like, all right, well, I'll just absorb it. And even if you have to tuck it down into the front, that works too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this over about a 3/4 of an inch. But again, you can do whatever you want. And then I'm going to very neatly tape this. Sometimes I'll do just one in the middle, but if I'm feeling particularly spicy, or if I really want to make sure that it's secure, I'll do 2 or 3. If I'm doing 3, I'll make sure that they're evenly spaced. If I'm doing 2, I'll just do 2 here in the middle. So next up, it's time to tackle the sides. So what we're going to do is, hopefully you can see down here in my Duzium camera down here behind Santa. What we're going to do is, this is, hopefully I can do this slowly because I'm so used to doing it quickly. That's what happens when you're a professional. Is I'm going to push down on the top here. Sometimes this doesn't quite stay. So if you're like wrapping something that's a little oddly shaped, or if you just want it to be a little bit extra secure, going for that Fort Knox look, you can just tape this down right here. And if you're real jazzy, you can hit both sides of the paper to keep them down. And I got a little bit of a lip there, so it actually taped onto the box as well. So that baby's not going anywhere. So next thing I'm gonna do is here in the corners, I'm gonna use my finger to push down and just create a little triangle on the side, right? See that bad boy, like that? All right, it's not quite a pyramid, but you can call it Giza if you want. So we're gonna put those down on the sides, and I'm just gonna iron that bad boy out, and I'm gonna fold this in, and I'm gonna push down and just fold that bad boy as well. Now you might notice, or I don't know if you can see that, but I've got a little bit of a hairy edge right there, all right? Well, I don't have a Gillette for my gift, but what I do have is the art of folding. So what I'm gonna do is, let me see if I can do this upside down. It's honestly a little bit more different when you're doing it upside down like this, but I'm just gonna fold that over on your wrapping. Honestly, just fold it over. I got no jokes for that, but fold it over. That's all I got. So I'm gonna do that with just a little bit of a lip, all right? Because obviously we need for it to nicely cover up on the side there. Sometimes when we're getting into like the small spaces, what I will actually do is for this, I'm gonna use 2 pieces of tape. I have to do this upside down, so this is a doozy. What I'll do is I'll actually put the piece of tape on my finger, gently stick it underneath the paper, and then boom, it's there. Boom, it's there. Now I've got tape on both sides. I should have used like duct tape so you could see it better, but I've got it on both sides there, and I can just with my fingers, my thumbs, boop, I can grab it, pick it up, and boom, look at that. She is on the side, look at that. You can't even measure that. Architects are crying. Nancy Messina is somewhere crying in Concord, Massachusetts. Poor thing. We'll send her a gift basket. So I'm gonna quickly do the other side here just to get that jazzed up so we can literally wrap this bad boy up. I'm gonna fold that over, add a couple of pieces of jazz here on the back, and away we go. So there you go. You've got a beautifully wrapped piece that's got some sexy edges, nice and neatly packaged. You're in business, you're ready to go. So a couple of helpful tips that I might just recommend since we've just gone over that's the meat and potatoes of this whole talk. If you're just looking for gift wrapping, you can probably tune out now. But if you want to stay with me, come along for the ride. It's going to be a jingle bell. So this is the meat and potatoes of wrapping a gift. I will make a few notes here. Sometimes, and this has happened to the best of us, you don't have the nice clear tape because you forgot to bring a roll home from the office. What are you gonna do? So maybe you just have painter's tape. Maybe you got duct tape, or maybe you got the big roll here because you just moved or something like that. What I would say is in a case, let's say like painter's tape here, go for the gold. Why deny? All right, if it's sticky, let it rip, baby. But what I would say is, I don't know if you can see it. Here we go. Just make a clean cut like that, and then pull it out. Another clean cut, and just here I'm gonna put this on the side, and just own the fact that you're putting painter's tape on the side of a gift, right? Do it, make it look crisp. No shame, no game. All right. I mean, does that look like amazing? No. But you know what? If you're my brother, you're loving this. But that looks crisp and clean. And I've done more with less. So that's it. So lots of different types of tape, lots of different ways to do things. So have at it. The other thing that I also would add to your thought process as you're doing gifts is think about when the person opens it. And that's why I put the wrapping the way I do is with the edges and like the little handles on the side. If I'm going to open this, it's got easy ways to pull it up, and it's about the presentation. The other thing that you want to consider, like this bad boy right here, which I wrapped for my husband. We're going to talk more by the way about this wrapping style in a minute, but I wrapped this bad boy for him. This is double knotted, so he's really going to need a knife. He's going to have to work for that one. All right, that's a good gift, so he should work for it. But consider that too. If you're in a place where you're at, if you're wrapping something for your grandmother, maybe stay away from the hard duct tapes or the 50 Shades of Grey knot collection. So think about that. The other thing I wanted to just quickly go over is, do you have a tough wrap? Let me tell you, Sometimes you do. So I want to just briefly talk about wrapping things that are a little oddly shaped. This is some of our delicious pasta sauce that Rich and I make with his Auntie Carmina. And this is no tape. This is one scissor, and this is very easy to do. So at this point, I want to introduce one of my two best friends in the world of wrapping, and that is this cellophane material. Let me tell you, I don't know how I got to be this young without finding this in my life, but this stuff is the bomb.com. And it's so easy to use. You can literally wrap anything with this stuff right here. So let's get into it. No more messing around. What I'm going to do is unroll this. You can buy it on Amazon, Target. You can go to anywhere, just anywhere. But it's good stuff, and you're not going to regret a single second of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the middle. I'm going to do quickly size it up. All right. I'm going to see that, yep, that's about, a couple inches up and over. I'm going to quickly cut myself a little piece of this. Sometimes you get a good glide on that bad boy and it's like winning the lottery. Other times it looks like a murder scene because it's like hack, hack, hack. So that can be a problem. The other thing I'm going to do, very simple for this, for the sauce right here, is I've got my sheet. It's all cut. It's ready to go. Honestly, and I could do this in the time I've already been talking. I could have wrapped 3 of these. You can do one of 2 things. Number one, you can take the jar, pull up on the sides, and you're good to go. Or I'm going to get a little extra because why not? It's a Wednesday. I'm going to I pre-cut a piece of tissue paper that I'm going to put in the middle, do a little bit of put this bad boy right in the middle, and I'm going to go up on the sides, boom, 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 just like a ponytail when you used to do your doll's hair. Going to pull that, and you're going to, I have a pre-cut piece of rope here, by the way, where this is a festive Christmas rope that I recycled from another gift, but we're going to get into that in just a moment. And then honestly, all you do, tie it tight, bang a little over your, I don't know what they call it, the rabbit in the hole, and boom, we just wrapped it sauce. Tough size, tough shape, but there's nothing tough on the eyes about this. This is beauty, okay? Let's get ready to indulge and gift this to somebody. You're welcome. So if you've got something that's a little bit tougher in size, go for the gold, all right? That's gonna take me into my next segment, which is to talk a little bit about different types of wrapping paper. Let's quickly start with the fact that I've got over here my different selection of boxes. Much to my husband's displeasure, I keep more boxes than a UPS warehouse. But when he comes looking to wrap a Ziploc bag, I'm like, do I have a fancy box for you? So I have a whole collection over here of boxes of different sizes, and I be judicious with my sizes just to make sure that I'm not keeping like 6 of the same one, but keep a bunch of different boxes on hand. So you got to different options for if there's a weird gift that comes along. Also, these tins over here, can't lose with them. They are fantastic. So definitely want to get after a quick holiday tin, which obviously is good for cookies, which is what I think came in this. But also you can wrap odd shape objects in that bad boy. A little bit of tissue paper in there, you're good to go. Let's see. We talked a little bit about, so I want to just go with normal wrapping paper. We're into, just by the way, for those keeping track at home, we're into the types of wrapping paper segment right now. We've got standard, don't forget those grid lines. I don't know how you tell if they got them, but I guess it says on a label somewhere. So that stuff is good. Definitely go out and pick yourself up a roll of the cellophane. Life-changing. You're gonna think, oh my gosh, I was a boy until I found this and now I'm a man. So that stuff is good. And then this is my other secret weapon that I am very excited about. And parents, listen up. This is regular moving packing paper, right? This is the stuff that you get when you're wrapping all the dishes to make a big move, a big box of this stuff, right? Bought this bad boy at Staples last night. Just newsprint sheets, $14.99 for this big stack. I'll be wrapping things until at least 2023 with that. So get after that. One of my favorite things about this, and this part I want parents to be listening, escúchame por favor, is this stuff is perfection for if you're doing gifts with kids. And I'll tell you why. That's right. Let me put this to the side. The reason this is so cool is you can draw on it. So I did this earlier, a little quick setup, but I wrapped a gift and for a $10 donation to Rich and my walk team, for the first person who pays $10 can find out what's in this box. You don't get to keep it, but at least I'll tell you what it is. So what I did is I made this, I wrapped this bad boy up, and then I just made a quick drawing on it. Something, of course, it's Elizabeth, and it's, well, she goes places, so she needs a car. But I made a quick car drawing on there, throw a little border for detail. Everyone loves a little bit of that. And then I just thought of a way, focusing on what Gary said, a little creativity, on a way that we can just do the to and from. So then it's nice and easy for her to see. And you've got the car. I drew this from memory, but I've done unicorns. I've even done, although this one's a little mangy, but go with it. This one is for my nephew. That's supposed to be a dinosaur, although we'll see. But it kind of looks like Pete's dragon, I guess. We'll go with that. But you can, just a quick Google of, dinosaur clip art, easy. And I Googled one, and then I was like, all right, well, we can do that. But this is a great idea for kids in particular. What you can have the kids do is you can either wrap the gift with this and then have the kids draw on it, which is a little edgy, but go for it if that's what you're into. Or what you could actually do, which I think would be really cool, is lay this out on the table ahead of time and then have the kids draw all over it. And they can do all sorts of things and make creative projects. And that's super helpful for wrapping whatever. The other thing I would say in a quick note, and of course I have my very special HFA symposium bag, and this is like a do not touch item, Rich Pacillo. I'm looking at you. Literally, I'm looking at you. Don't touch my bag. Because it's like a pencil case in 4th grade. I collected these, I worked very hard. This is my marker bag. It has my Sharpie collection. If you've received a card from me, basically ever, it was drawn with these. Just a timer's going off, just to remind me that I'm way behind. The other secret weapon that I love these, and let me tell you, I've got more miles out of this than Jody Bedoint running a marathon in 1984. These are daubers, which you get for bingo. These things are fantastic, all right? If Ella Fitzgerald was here, she'd be jazzing all about these, okay? These things are fantastic because of a couple of reasons, but mostly the fact that you see how big this space is, right? Maybe we'll go to the big camera, but you can do like a Merry Christmas. And you could turn something like that into wrapping paper where it just goes all the way around. I could make like little candy canes on here. That's not really candy cane, but more like a little boomerang, maybe for an Australian friend. But you can make all sorts of things. The other thing that I actually will do with this paper as well is when Rich and I used to travel, we will again, I guarantee, because we have a lot of miles and points to use. What I would do is I would actually make a signs for him to say, welcome home. And you can make them like this, hanging up, boom, boom, there you go. Again, a great thing for kids to do because it's a big space. They got lots of things, and find them something that's a little bit more bold. Although this is literally a bold choice on your part as a parent because it could stain, but probably not, but I'm not liable if that happens. So good luck. So I'm gonna put these away real quick, and I'm gonna cycle out of that. And what I did want to also share with you is some of my other favorite products that I really like for wrapping stuff. This crunchy, crinkly stuff. It looks like somebody dyed their hair red from the 80s and put it in a bag with the crinkle. This stuff is fabulous. And I've kept it from all the packages that I get, either from Neha or I'll just buy a little bit in the store or something like that. But this stuff is fantastic. You could even put a little bit at the bottom of this. The only problem is that it probably wouldn't stand perfectly, but this stuff is fabulous. Always a golden ticket if you keep this stuff around the house. I also wanted to draw your attention to some of these items. If you order gifts from Amazon, oftentimes they'll come in a bag like this. So keep a few of these on hand. If you've ever given me a gift in a bag like this, I guarantee you I still have it. I keep them all. And actually I keep them in a skinny bag like this up in a closet where Rich can't find it. So, and this has got some nice stuff in it too. Look at this one. This is a very nice bag with anchors on it. You're not taking that one, Ricky. Also, different styles of wrapping paper. Just a grocery bag. Cut this bad boy down the middle, cut the bottom off, turn inside out, and you can wrap a gift in a paper bag from the grocery store. Costs nothing except for the groceries that you had to buy to put in it, or maybe 5 cents, but it costs nothing but a tree, so, or 7 or 10. So that's a thing too. The other things I wanted to just draw your attention to is tissue paper. If you have given me a gift in the last couple of years, I guarantee you I also have your tissue paper because I love tissue paper and I have a very robust collection with almost every color under the sun. I like this one because it looks like Dorothy's dress. So those are also some good things that you can keep on hand. And you can use tissue paper for obviously all sorts of things. I'm not even going to waste time talking about putting stuff in a gift bag, even though I do have a lovely one with anchors on it, because who's got time, really? The other thing I did quickly want to note about wrapping a gift like a book. And by the way, if you haven't seen this book yet, highly recommend. It's called Maybe, but you can learn about that later. What I did want to point out about this book in particular, or about wrapping books, is when I do a wrap on a book, remember how we taped the back? Obviously, you don't want to tape the back of a book because you don't want to ruin it. And so in the absence of proper wrapping paper, just pretend we're wrapping it here in this gift, in this tissue paper. What I actually will often do is I will just pull the wrapping paper, fold it in like this, close the book, boom. And that's essentially my paper that holds it in place. So when I do that pull thing, of course, this isn't properly sized, but when I do that, it's all set to go, and that holds it in place. So that's a quick tip I wanted to share with you guys on how to wrap books. Of course, you can do the thing like my parents used to do and just not tape the back, which is cool, but it's not quite as secure. So the other thing, of course, you can use is newspaper. And the most important thing I want to say about wrapping paper is it is almost all recyclable. So please make sure, pull the bows off, because those will snarl up. But when you're opening gifts on Christmas Day or whatever holiday, all that's recyclable. So keep that in mind. I'm going to try, knowing that we're very over, for anyone who's even still listening, if there's anyone out there, I'm going to quickly talk a little bit about ribbon. I recycle ribbon, and that is not a joke. I actually keep ribbon in these binder clips just to keep it so it's nice and secure. But if you give me a gift with nice ribbon on it, I am keeping it. I got no time for not saving ribbon. So I put all my nice ribbons together in here. And frankly, I don't even care how long it is, because you know what? Ribbon is ribbon. And if it's nice, I'm keeping it. So you got this. Anytime I go to the dollar store, I always hook up with some of these inexpensive ribbon styles right here. So I definitely collect these throughout the year. And of course, this like green one, for example, this is fabulous for a baby gift, just saying, or perhaps a St. Patrick's Day delight. You can even use things like lanyard here for wrapping gifts. One of my favorite things I bought a couple of years ago is this candy cane twine from Crate and Barrel. I've been wrapping gifts with this for about 4 years, and I guarantee you that my great-grandchildren will be wrapping gifts with this bobbin because it is so huge. So God bless them, and hopefully they have a nice time with the one thing that my great-grandchildren will be getting. And then, of course, we've got some of these larger, more beautiful and robust assortments with the wire on the side. Those are very delicious, always a hit. And of course, I bought this at the Christmas tree shop, a nice big spool with a holder in case you want to get really aggressive, so you can hold on to that bad boy. Enough about that. Of course, I'm just looking at my notes really quick. Did want to remind you also at the dollar store, or for Southern New Englanders, maybe Northern, you can get What does that say? Oh, there we go. I see a question coming in from Laura, kissing all the curtains. Where did I get my stuff? Great question, Laura. I got shop at the dollar store. When we hit Target, I'll often look at Target. I don't really buy any wrapping stuff online because I want to see it. I'm a touch kind of person. If I go to Michael's, and I got a doozy of a spool of ribbon at the Container Store, really top-notch stuff right after Christmas. Highly recommend. It's actual like real ribbon. And I gotta admit, I'm a real ribbon person. This stuff is plastic right here, but it still works. I know everyone's like, Michael, you gotta hurry up. The other thing I wanted to mention is let's get into some extras really quick. All right, so number one, I'm very excited about all these things. So number one, when we, at the end of the Christmas season, when we're taking all the cards down, now everyone's doing photo cards, which kind of puts a bummer on my game plan. But what I'll actually do is I will cut the front off of some of the cards, and this is still good. These are birthday cards. This one's actually from my sister, Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth, thank you. It was a good card. Thank you for not writing on the front. But I just cut those off and keep them. And then this can become a card for someone else. And it's a great way to recycle. And people send some doozy good cards. So why let those go? Why make them a one-time only? So I could barely see, is that Allie Booton said I do that too? That's my girl. I like your style. The other thing I wanted to just say is, of course, I talked about packing paper, cards. Oh, postcards. How could I forget? When I fly, I buy postcards all the time. But I also buy postcards for Rhode Island, which is a little weird, but because I'm here, so I don't need to send myself a postcard of that. But I can send it to other people, like my grandfather. I send him postcards often. But you could make that into a card as well. Well, something jazzy on the back, and then draw a little Christmas tree. Boom, you're done. The other thing I wanted to say or just share is, of course, for our Wicked Strong family community, maybe perhaps adding a nice Wicked Strong family sticker to the outside of a box really shares the community spirit. Loving that. I recently, I do have a Cricut machine. Love that. That'll be another segment, and that one's going to need to be a triple 3-hour segment because that's a lot of stuff to talk about. But some of the stuff that I cut sometimes comes out of there, like these little circles from a project I did. So I saved them. I got like 30 of them, and I made those into a little tag. So you can just make that into a little tag. That's right, Boo. Love you much. And all you need for that is just a quick hole punch, just to make that into something that actually that you can put thread into the thing. So keep that one in mind. And then one of my favorite things is that you could do with kids, again, for those parents who are at home. And I'm very excited about this because this one came up actually as a result of us doing the Fall Fest boxes. So we went to, of course, we went to to BJ's or Costco and bought a big box of these Hershey bars, because who doesn't like a little sweet chocolate in their life? I know I did, but I'm trying to watch my sugar intake anyway. So one of these bars, and actually what you can do is with the kids, just take a piece of paper. This is a plain piece of copy paper. Measure out the size of how big this is. Also see about roughly how big it would be to wrap the candy bar. You'll see that it's actually only about half the piece of paper. And then if you don't have one of these, by the way, you got to run to Staples, get the cellophane and get one of these bad boys, straight edge cutter. Honestly, this, I might even put a ring on it. In fact, I am. There it is. So this is one of my favorites. My straight edge, it's a dream come true. So cut the piece of paper to fit, and through the magic of television or the fact that I left my job earlier so I could do this, what I created is this little wrapper for a candy bar. And so I just taped it on the back already because I was trying to be prepared. And then it just folds over. And then a quick couple, you could, this is kind of silly, but you could piece of tape on the back and badoom, badoom, happy holidays. And you can give this away to people as an easy, quick gift, or you could tape this to the top of a box. Although this is a little silly because it's too small, but you could tape this to the top of a box. Kids can do this. You could have the kids sit there for days maybe not. They'll probably be there for 10 minutes, but they're your kids, not mine. So good luck. But you can have kids do this. You can have little Timmy, draw a picture of himself on there. I used my dauber to create this delicious wreath. You're welcome. And then I didn't even get, well, it's a brief one, but I also wanted to point out, you can have the kids cut out felt. Of course, be careful with the scissors. And then the last things I just wanted to mention on the topic of having kids involved, just grab a pack of markers and have them do that. You can also, if you wanted to, and keep them kind of controlled, these are stickers that you can get from Avery in Staples or wherever, and they're pre-cut in 2-inch diameter circles. You could write on here to and from, and then have the kids fill it out themselves, or they could color it in. If the kid doesn't even know how to write, just have them scribble a couple lines on there, and grandma will love it. She probably needs a new prescription anyway, so she won't even see it. But the other thing, I just saw Sarah's face in the thing. Lastly, too, is these are bigger shipping labels. These are the 8.5 by 11 bad boys. The let's see, the 8465s. Those are hot item. All right. These are big stickers. This is what we use on the side of the boxes for Fall Fest and the other events. So you can have the kids draw till their heart's content on these and use them to just stick on the side. You can put it on the outside of a box, or you can incorporate this somehow into whatever you want. And the good thing about this is, because it's a full sheet of paper, you can actually cut this into different shapes and sizes. If you have a Cricut machine, you could have the kid color it in and then just have the Cricut cut a candy cane or an angel or whatever your heart's content. I rushed through that. That's it. Sorry, I made this one for Gary. Shout out to Gary. If you have popsicle sticks at home, like these bad boys, got a bunch of these at Nacho this year down in Phoenix, like the one event we went to this year. What you can do is you can have the kids write a little to and from on there, like my little Christmas tree. It's for you, Gary. And you can use, again, this is silly because it's kind of too small, but you could use something like that to stick through as a nice way that the kids can be working on this on the side. And then at the end, you can stick that right in. And if the person gets sick over the holiday season, you've always got a tongue depressor right there ready to go. So there you go. So that's that. I could go on. Oh, sorry, one more thing. And this is another good idea. And it's a way to do like a living Christmas gift, something, since we're all so gloomy. Well, now we're not, thanks to Gary, but go to the store and buy some seed packets. These seed packet, actually, it's probably no good anymore, but I bought this for Annalise back like 3 years ago. But these are some wildflowers, and you could have the kids make a little label that goes in the front of that bad boy and tape it to the top of a gift. And that becomes an extension and a nice way throughout the year for people to be thinking about you. So I promise that's it. I can see something else I want to talk about, but I'm not going to because I'm so wildly over. Sorry about that, but thank you guys for your attention. If there's even anyone still on here, at least Rich is still here, but he can't leave. So he'll have to unweld the chain on his ankle. But thank you for the privilege of your time. And I appreciate everything. If you've got questions, I actually can't see the chat. And I don't know if we have time for those, but you can hit me up somehow and we'll talk more. But in the meantime, I will hand it back over to you, Sarah, and to take us back home. And thank you, Sarah, and HFA, and Neha, and Gary, and Megan, and Connecticut for everything, for letting me do this. So there we go.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Round of applause, Michael, for that fabulous demonstration. I think it is clear that we are going to have to add another one of these segments on at some point in the next few months. I have no doubt that you have another craft up your sleeve you could also walk us through, including your craft room, because everyone wants to know where you are storing all of these things. So thank you for that, Michael. I thought I'd throw out a couple of tips myself because might as well be extra.
Please do.
Paper rolls, since everyone has so much toilet paper left over from the pandemic, are a great way to store your ribbon in an easy format, especially when you have a lot that comes in. Other thing, I actually learned this when I used to do a lot of gift wrapping through Make-A-Wish. You can take scraps of your wrapping paper, cut them into thin strips, and they curl really well to make a ribbon.
Yeah.
So if you don't have ribbon, don't waste it. Don't waste your extra wrapping paper.
Never. Yeah.
I know. So anyways, just a few more tips to hopefully help you on your way for wrapping joy.
Also, a quick shout out to Michael's #1 fan. I don't know who that is, but love you too. Signed autograph picture coming in the mail when we figure out who you are. And thank you. Love you.
Well, I can tell you that you'll probably see them during the holidays because they may or may not be related to you. So
good. Checks in the mail.
With that being said, I just want to thank both Gary and Michael for a wonderful presentation. I have no doubt that this will not be the last you'll see of both of them. Please feel free to get in touch with Michael if you would like any additional tips. And we'll be sure to share this recording as well, because I know a few people had to pop off. But Michael, I have to say, I think only 3 people had to leave. One of them was.
Wow.
I hope next week, next time, we've got a great presentation with pro golfer and blood brother Perry Parker. So I hope that you'll join us for that. And we will be playing a family-friendly game of Kahoot. For those who don't know Kahoot, it's a trivia game that you can do on the computer. It's a lot of fun. It's something that a lot of teens use in school. And so I think people will really enjoy it, and the whole family should come for that. So that's what we've got queued up. With that, I'll just say once again, thank you all so much for joining us. I know that we are quite a bit over, so thank you for sticking with us as we, it's okay, Michael, we will, you'll still get a gift this year, but it has since been discounted by 50%. So